So let's talk about personal safety. We're going to dig into a new framework called safety intelligence. And really, it's a complete shift in thinking, moving away from that constant stress that comes with what people call situational awareness and into something calmer and honestly, a lot more effective.
And hey, just a quick shout out, this whole breakdown is made possible by our friends over at The Other Way Marshall Consulting. We'll be hearing a little more about what they do in a bit.
All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever been told to be situationally aware, but all it really did was make you feel kind of anxious? You know, like you're supposed to be on high alert 24/7, just scanning for danger. Yeah, you are not alone. And that feeling points to a really big problem.
And that feeling, it has a name. The source material calls it the Paranoia Problem, and it's all about the flawed way that most of us have been taught to think about staying safe.
You see, the traditional way of thinking about safety basically puts you in this constant high alert mode, always on the lookout for the boogeyman. But here's the thing, that is not just stressful, it's totally unsustainable. Your brain simply wasn't built to run at that level of intensity all the time. It actually leads to something called vigilance fatigue, where you're so worn out from looking for threats that you end up becoming less aware.
So, if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's all about a massive shift in your mindset. It's about moving from thinking like a security guard to thinking like an intelligence analyst.
And the difference here is everything. The guard is reactive. They're constantly asking, is that a threat? Is that a threat? Which is a super high stress way to live. The analyst, on the other hand, is predictive. They're asking a totally different question. What breaks the pattern here? This is a low energy, sustainable way to process your environment that gives you way more control.
And this isn't just a theory. Check this out. A senior developer, David R., said that after he made this shift, he stopped looking over his shoulder and started actually seeing his world. The result for him? Peace of mind. And isn't that what we're all really after? Not more anxiety, but calm, quiet confidence.
Okay, so how do you actually become the analyst? It's not just a feeling. It's a very specific, repeatable 4-step protocol. Let's break it down. Okay, first step, you establish a baseline. That just means you get a sense of what's normal for wherever you are. What's the normal sound, the normal flow of people? This immediately lets you ignore 99% of what's going on. Then, step 2, you spot an anomaly. That's anything that breaks your baseline. This is the only new piece of data you need to pay attention to. Step 3, you assess it. Is this weird thing a threat, or is it just a nuisance? Or maybe nothing at all? And finally, step 4, you navigate. And this is key. You don't try to confront or fix the anomaly. You just use that information to calmly move around it.
Now, look, mastering this kind of mental software, it's a skill, right? It takes practice. That's actually where our sponsor, The Other Way Marshall Consulting, comes in. They offer a 10-week mentorship program designed to really install this protocol into your daily life. It includes virtual training with a qualified instructor, and then it's capped off with two-hour hands-on sessions to really make it stick. If that sounds interesting, the link is right down in the description.
I absolutely love this next idea from the source. It's called the engineer's rule, and it's such a perfect analogy. It says safety intelligence is like debugging the environment. You're just spotting the potential bugs, the anomalies, before the bad code has a chance to run and crash the system. It's just a logical, proactive process.
All right, let's make this real. Let's apply this whole system to a classic scenario that makes a lot of people feel pretty vulnerable: the parking lot.
Think about it. The fearful guard is probably walking through that parking lot with their keys between their fingers, head on a swivel, just waiting for something bad to happen. The calm analyst, though, doesn't operate on fear. They just run a quick, data-driven audit before they even step outside.
So, what's the magic number for this audit? 30 feet. And you might be asking, why 30 feet specifically? Well, it's kind of the sweet spot. It's close enough that you can still get a good read on someone's intent, but it's far enough away that you have plenty of time to react and adjust your path if you need to.
So here's what that audit actually looks like in real time. Before you even leave the building, you do a quick scan. As you walk, you take a wide path around things that block your view, like a big van or a sharp corner. This buys you time and vision. If you spot an anomaly, someone who just doesn't fit the baseline, you immediately change your path. And notice that last point, because it's everything. You're reacting to data, not to fear.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. Making that shift from being a guard to being an analyst. It's about moving your safety from the category of luck to the category of intelligence.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Right now, today, is your personal safety strategy based on luck, on just hoping nothing bad happens, or is it based on a deliberate, intelligent process that puts you in the driver's seat? Hey,
If this breakdown gave you something to think about, we'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button, subscribe for more explainers just like this one, and definitely share your thoughts on this framework down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
On behalf of everyone at The Other Way Marshall Consulting, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there and stay intelligent.